Oh. Oh, there. Don't. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, did it again. So this is 3D mode disabled, but with 3D mode enabled. Oh! Did something come off before it went? Because that felt pretty nice in flight until it wiggled and I wasn't sure.
Oh, just a bit of prop that came off.
But what happened to make it wiggle? I would have, if gains were going to make it do something like that, I'd expect it to wobble on just a hover. Not really sure. Okay, it seems I wanted to fall out of the sky and break a couple of 3D props. But it had already flipped a couple of times fine first. I'm not sure what the deal was there exactly. Gains didn't really seem that far out. So, we'll try again with some normal props. This is my throttle hold effectively, so my arm and disarm. And at the top position I've got 3D mode disabled, so it will fly with a normal curve. You don't have the resolution you normally have, it's half the resolution, but it still works like a normal quad. That is 3D. And that is 3D. They're both the same. So there's no stabilization at all. Air mode indeed. Okay. So we try 3D mode. It's going to drop a little bit because midpoint, I'm just below midpoint to hover, and midpoint's going to give you a just start spinning. You need to be just above that, about that position on the throttle for it to hover when I switch to 3D mode. Or you can land and do it if you like. It's a bit sloppy on the yaw when I flip with non-3D blades, but it does work. Oh, that did something funky again then. As I was putting the throttle back on, as it was upright like that, it kind of shimmied. Flat, it seems to be okay. So I managed to repeat whatever the issue was at least. I'm just going to try again. Because I think I might have figured something out. Okay, I'll go straight into 3D mode this time. And midpoint throttle. Power wise and torque wise, they're not bad, these props for 3D. There, little twitch. Maybe just my minimum throttle's too high. Yeah, because if I feed in the minimum throttle first, or if I feed in some throttle first, don't if I delay around the centre and try and just feather in the throttle, it's going voo, voo, voo. But if I confidently put it past the centre mark to the point where I've got a hover kind of amount of throttle, it's okay. So it's when the power's coming on. So it's nothing to do with 3D blades or gains being out. But yeah, I think I figured out what the deal was. I'm not sure whether just a low throttle will sort that out. Okay, 3D mode. So I'm going to be less dainty with the throttle, a bit more, not aggressive, but not going to mess around near the centre throttle for long at all. Ooh. That's pretty nice, pretty nice. It's just when I'm trying to feather in the throttle from a change, if it's slowed down, it seems to jar it when it starts the throttle again. But if I don't let them slow down much and go past the point to where I've got an almost hover amount of throttle, just not too much to feather in, it seems fine, like really predictable and nice, in fact. Surprisingly good on these props for 3D, really. Try and put my minimum throttle down even lower and see if that stops it jarring when I'm trying to feather it in. Not bad for a first test. Oh! Yeah. Yeah, did it again. I'm going to have to stop. I'm going to trash it otherwise, but yeah. Absolutely, definitely. Just feathering in the throttle for the change makes it spaz out a little bit. So I think it's something to do with the props slowing down to a certain speed and having to speed back up again. I think it's just throwing the gyro out a little bit. But I know a friend's beta flight setup that I flew on 3D didn't have that issue. The V-bar one that I flew yesterday did slightly. I felt like the throttle was a little bit high, but if you went past that throttle point and just kind of ignored the really low throttle and a bit more authority in there, it didn't have a problem at all. So, a little bit more work needed on this one, but it's way fun, and it's sort of decent on those blades. Okay, I've got a foot broken off. Well, not quite broken off, that I'll actually fix with some glue. That seems to be the only damage so far. Yeah. Oh, my antenna. My antenna's bust. The base of it's still in there. So I think I need to put a switch in this one really, so I can take my antenna out when I'm not flying line of sight. Because if it's just going to be crashing all over the place, I'm going to break another VTX or antennas all the time. Okay, I've adjusted the min and max deadband, 3D deadband on this one. We'll see if it makes any difference. Okay, there's some yaw drift there. That left yaw that's going on isn't me. Let me just check. There's no trim in there. Doesn't seem to have the problem on feathering in between the positive and negative anymore. Okay, so if you delay around that center a lot, it still does it, but I had to really sit around that midpoint as it was sort of hanging in the air before it did a little spaz. So I think I'm closer, but the throttle 3D deadband, it's not even either way. I can't remember if I've got more high or low at the moment, but I think I've got a lot more high than I have low. Now, the default's 1460, but I've set it 1500 in BLheli, so I've set it 1500 in beta flight as well. Okay, a little spaz there on. So I think I still need to tweak this a little bit further, but I'm not totally understanding exactly where I need to tweak it to with my 3D deadbands, because it's not even both sides, and that feels like the lowest throttle that I can get either side. So perhaps these ESCs that's the best they can do, but I'll have to try a couple of other quads first and see if those do any better. But not bad, especially considering it's got very bashed up stock props, not even 3D props. It was still capable enough to have fun. But jury's out on this particular quad for 3D.